Good evening. On behalf of the League of Women Voters of the Morristown area, the Women's Club of Parsippany Troy Hills, and the Daily Record, part of the USA Today New Jersey Network, I am pleased to welcome you to our Parsippany Troy Hills Board of Education Forum. My name is Jocelyn Tan, and I'm a member of the League of Women Voters of the Morristown area. The League of Women Voters, or LWV, is a nonpartisan political organization, and therefore we never support or oppose political parties or candidates. Elections and voting are a core concern in our efforts to empower voters, and defending democracy is our mission. We are committed to providing fact-based information about the issues and positions candidates take to help volunteers make their own decisions and participate in the electoral process. With 100 years of experience, the League is one of America's oldest and most trusted civic nonprofit organizations. Membership in the League is open to all gender identities. We also open volunteering to everyone, whether or not you are a member. Now, I welcome Marilyn Zarzicki of the Women's Club of Parsippany Troy Hills to say a few words.
You need to unmute.
I am co-president with Marilyn Marion from the Parsippany Troy Hills Women's Club. We are an international service volunteer organization. Thank you for being here with us tonight.
Thank you. On behalf of Bill Westhoven, the Daily Record has covered Morris County since 1900 and is now part of the USA Today New Jersey Network, covering breaking news, including local, state, national, and global, as well as investigative journalism, topical features, scholastic and professional sports, and more, both in print and online at dailyrecord.com. We encourage everyone to go to vote411.org, a League one-stop site for information on all aspects of voting in New Jersey, including statements on the issues from your candidate. Please visit our website to learn more about the Morristown Area League. And remember to make your vote count and vote in one of three ways. 1, vote by mail ballot if you signed up for that. 2, early in person using a voting machine from October 28th to November 5th. Or 3, in person on Tuesday, November 7th. This forum is being live streamed on the Morristown Area LWV YouTube channel and will be available there for viewing afterwards. We encourage the sharing of the League's recording of this event in its entirety, but do not allow editing or making public any excerpts from the recording. The League name, logo, event recording, or any materials from the event cannot be used in a way that could lead a viewer or reader to infer League support of or opposition to a candidacy. At this time, I would like to introduce our moderator, Marlene Sincaglia. Marlene is a League-trained moderator who is not from this voting district. She will outline the format for this evening and introduce the candidate.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Okay. First of all, I'd ask the candidates to please unmute yourself so that we're ready to get going. Thank you. Okay. The program this evening is divided into 3 portions. The first portion is an opening statement. Each of the candidates will have 1.5 minutes in which to make this opening statement. We have a timekeeper with us, and the timekeeper will show a 30-second yellow card to the candidates and to myself, giving the candidates an idea they have 30 more seconds before their answer needs to be concluded. When time is up, then a red card will be shown. The candidate must complete their thought, and then we move on to the next candidate. Okay. Opening statements at 1.5 minutes will be done in alphabetical order. So first we have Mr. Nilesh M. Baghdadi. We can't hear you for whatever reason.
You hear me now?
Yes, okay.
Okay. First of all, I want to take this opportunity to thank the League of Women's Voters of Morristown area to give us an opportunity to present ourselves as candidates for the Parsippany Board of Education. Thank you. I appreciate the efforts taken over here. My name is Neelash Bagdai, and I'm a resident of Lake Hiawatha, Parsippany. I have a daughter going into Parsippany High School. She's a freshman at the school, and this beautiful town and the beautiful school system, we moved from Clifton, New Jersey to Parsippany to come and experience the school system. And we are very happy with the school system over here. Again, Neelash Bagdai. What I want to make a point over here is the school education is changing. The demographics of Parsippany is changing. You know, the people coming into the town from various parts of the country is changing. It's been several years that things have not changed in the Parsippany Board of Education. We require a change, and I want to tell the voters that please vote for us to bring in the change in the system over here, and to make sure that you want to improve the ranking in the school system and make sure that the town gets the best out of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Mr. Falgun Bakhtarwala.
Hello, everyone. My name is Falgun Bakhtarwala, and I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to League of Women, Parsippany Women Club, and Daily Record for organizing this event. Once again, I've been living in the Parsippany since 2009, where I reside with my wife. Our children attend the Lake Parsippany Elementary School, which has further strengthened my commitment to the welfare of our education system. As a professional electrical engineer, I hold education as the highest regard, and I hold vision of every student with Parsippany Troy Hill School District to receive the finest education possible. I'm a firm advocate for education, and I'm wholeheartedly dedicated to serve our community with unwavering commitment and forward-thinking approach. My passion for education extends beyond the confines of the classroom, aiming to foster a learning environment that not only encourages innovation, but also nurture their critical thinking and harness the unique potential within each and every student. As a candidate for Board of Education, my unwavering dedication is focused to ensure that our education system remains comprehensive, robust, and while remain adaptable and responsive to evolving needs of our students and our community. It's my belief that education has the power to transform the lives and pave the way for the brighter future for our township. Together, we have an opportunity to elevate the quality of education in Parsippany for benefit to all. So please vote for Falgun Bakhtarwala. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Ms. Lily Benavides.
Good evening. Thank you, Women League. To the League of Women Voters for putting together this forum. I am Lily Benavides. I live in Parsippany and Lake Hiawatha for 9 years, but my daughter has lived here for a longer time, and I have always been part of the schools because I'm been on all the activities of my grandkids, participating and taking them to different events. I believe that I can do a difference in the Board of Education because I can bring my experiences as a mother and grandmother mother of 4 kids and grandmother of 8 grandkids that have gone to the schools, and that I have always been part of that. And also I would like to see some diversity in the schools that represent the Latino community that is growing in town. And finally, I believe that the equality, the education needs to be accessible to everyone, to every children, and the accountability, so we can make sure that the money allocated for the schools are going to the right places. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Timothy P. Barrios.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tim Barrios, and I am running for your Parsippany Board of Education. I would like to thank the League of Women Voters of Morristown area for organizing this event, and the parents, families, and friends who are taking the time out of their busy schedule to be on this Zoom link. I'm a proud parent. I am a proud Parsippany resident for over 30 years. My wife, Kathleen, was born and raised here in Parsippany and was a graduate of the Parsippany school system. Kathleen and I have 3 children, grown children, who have all come through the school system and all are graduates of the Parsippany High School. Education is a big part of our family, as my wife was a teacher at the Livingston Board of Education for over 36 years, and she just recently retired. My daughter, Christina, is a high school teacher at New Providence, and my oldest daughter, Carly, is in higher education at Ramapo College. And my youngest daughter, Catherine, is a 4th grade teacher in Parsippany. Because Christina and Katie are members of the NJEA, I will follow the advice of the Parsippany Schools Council relating to any matters dealing with perceived conflicts. Since 2012, I have attended every board meeting up until this past May, when I needed to step down because my daughter was hired. Once again, thank you for your time, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you. Okay, Andrew Chaffo.
Well, thank you, and thanks to the League of Women Voters, the Parsippany Women's Club, and of course the Daily Record. A little about me. Moved to Parsippany about 25 years ago, primarily because of the strength of the school system. I had a 3-year-old daughter. I'm proud to say both of my children attended the Parsippany school system, and they had a great education. What qualifies me to serve on the Board of Education? Well, I have served on your Board of Education for 15 years, first elected in 2005, and then serving most of that time until recently. I'm a certified board member by the New Jersey School Board Association. I have served as 2 years as board vice president, served on every board committee. I've chaired most of them. I have very positive relationships with many of the board members, and of course, positive professional working relationships with district administrators. I'm familiar with board policies and district operations. Parsippany continues to be one of the top school districts in the state of New Jersey. I know how to be effective and work for you, and I ask that you re-elect myself, Tim Berrios, and Matt DeVito to the Board of Education. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Nicole Delafave.
Thank you to the League of Women's Voters for organizing this important event. My name is Nicole Delafave, and I'm running for a seat on the Parsippany Board of Education because I believe our children deserve the very best this town has to offer. This comes in the form of a well-educated board whose members have a fundamental understanding of today's unique climate in our schools. I'm a mother of 2 daughters here in Parsippany, a 5th grader and a 9th grader. I've been active in the PTA for a very long time and served a 2-term as PTA treasurer. I've lived in Parsippany for 38 years, obviously Parsippany graduate myself. I went to Penn State University and received a degree in education. Right after college, I taught 4th and 5th grade at Lake Hiawatha Elementary School for 17 years. In 2021, I left the classroom to help grow my family's small business, which led to a silver lining. I can now run to be a Board of Education member, furthering my commitment and passion to public schools in this town. Taking a parent's perspective and merging with a teacher's perspective, I can see a few areas we should focus on. We must prioritize relevant and challenging educational programming by researching new initiatives offered throughout the state. We can ensure our schools safe places that allow all children to thrive. And this means having to plan to invest in the infrastructure of our school buildings. Finally, we need an approach to this board that can quiet any political noise and get down to business, supporting our kids. My background in education, nearly 2 decades of classroom experience in this district, and having children of my own in these schools make me an ideal candidate for this Board of Education. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Matthew DeVito.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank the League of Women Voters and the Parsippany Women's Club for sponsoring this event tonight. My name is Matt DeVito, and I'm in my 6th year as a current board member. I've served on numerous committees in that time and attended many community events. I've received numerous training from the New Jersey School Boards Association, so that I've now recently achieved the Master Board Member certification. I'm a lifelong New Jersey resident, We've been resident of Parsippany since 2014, and my wife and I previously lived in Lake Hiawatha from 2001 to 2009. And one of the reasons we moved back to Parsippany was because we knew about the town, we liked the town, and we knew about how good the schools were. My wife Christine and I have 3 children, ages 17, 12, and 12, attending the schools in the district. And my wife is a public school teacher for 23 years in another district. And so we do know the value of a good public education for children. I'm a network engineer for 24 years at a financial services company. And I believe today's children need a good grasp of technology today. I feel it is necessary for a board member to be fiscally responsible and look for further educational needs of our children in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Balakrishna Samaga.
Good evening, Parsippany residents. My name is Bala Samaga. I live in Morris Plains with my wife and 2 children. My children started their kindergarten at East Lake School, and now they are studying at Parsippany Hills High School. Both of them, they enjoy their Parsippany school journey. I have 20 years of experience in the software industry. Currently, I work for Oracle Corporation, helping customers in their digital transformation journey. Based on the recent high school survey, our Parsippany Hills High School got 1,800 positions, and our Parsippany High School got 2,092 positions at the national level. Don't you think we need a better education system? Every year our tax is going up, but our standard is declining every year. Okay, we think we need a change. Okay, we need new set of ideas, innovation, as well as goal where we can prioritize our education system. I'm committed for our transparency, accountability, as well as collaboration with all the stakeholders, including the teachers, as well as the parents. Together, we would like to work to excel our students' education system, as well as prepare them for a better future. Thank you.
Thank you. Deetria Smith-Sneed.
Good evening, and thank you for this honor and privilege to talk about my platform as a candidate of Parsippany Troy Hill School District. I'm Dr. Deetria Smith-Sneed, and I am a 27-year veteran in K-12 education. I served as a classroom teacher for 11 years, and for the last 15 years, I served as a building administrator, central office administrator, and I'm currently sitting as a high school principal in another district. I am educated. I have a PhD in educational leadership, a master's in education leadership and supervision, and a degree in history education. I was a social studies teacher in the classroom. I have 2 children that are currently in Parsippany schools, one in elementary school and the other one in middle school, here with my husband. Parsippany is a beautiful, diverse town, and I feel as though with my keen expertise as an educational scholar, as an educator, and as a mother, that I have a lot to add to the Parsippany Board of Education. It's been stated numerous times tonight that the board lacks diversity and it lacks a new energy. And I feel as though I am a highly qualified candidate because 1, I love what I do. I love my community. I'm a great neighbor. I'm a great friend, and I'm here for everybody. And I want to be the voice that is unheard. I want to be the voice that's in the background. I want to be the voice that talk to me in ShopRite and on my blog. And when I go to the fair, that listen, I am Parsippany, but nobody hears me. I go to the meetings, nobody hears what I have to say. So I want to be that voice for everyone. So please, on November 7th, vote for Dr. Deetria Smith-Sneed. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Kendra Von Aiken.
Good evening. My name is Kendra Von Aiken. I have 2 kids that attend Parsippany schools, one at Northvale and one at Parsippany High School. My family has lived in Parsippany for over 8 years. I have been on the Board of Education for 3+ years, and I'm active in the community. Being a board member is a thankless job, yet I sit here before you asking to continue doing the hard work. I want to ensure our students get a strong, well-rounded education for years to come. I want to ensure we retain smart, hardworking teachers and administrative staff. All of these translate to successful students, high rankings for our school district, and high property values to homeowners. Most importantly, as a board member, I feel it's important to make every vote about all our students. We are a large and diverse district, and that is one of the key reasons our family moved to this town. We have students with varying needs, backgrounds, etc. Every decision should be about the collective, not the few. That is what I bring to every meeting, every question I ask, and every decision I make as a board member. I also feel it's important to hear from you, the public, about what concerns or issues you are having so we can work with the administration to make sure all our families are getting what they need. You can see from my voting record from the past 3 years where I stand on the key issues that surround our school district. You will also learn more tonight as we all answer questions. You can learn more about me on my Facebook campaign page, and I urge you to reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And Wendy Wright.
Hello, good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to thank the League of Women Voters, the Women's Club, and the Daily Record. I'd also like to thank our timekeeper, our host, Jocelyn Tan, and our moderator, Marlene Sincaglia, all for making this important event possible. I'd also like to thank my fellow candidates for participating and our audience for taking the time to learn about all of us. So many of us, right? About me, I'm a parent of a kindergartner in the district and a proud resident of our fine town. I love Parsippany. I talk it up all the time. I'm a volunteer with the PTA, and I've followed the work of the board closely over the past year plus. I hold a master's in public policy and a PhD in political science. Two of my doctoral areas that are relevant here are specializations in public law and, again, public policy. I've also served in leadership positions on advisory and policy boards within my profession and as a private citizen. I serve as the treasurer and member of the board of directors for a nonprofit for many years now. It's a small nonprofit. And so I have budget experience and fiscal leadership credentials. I myself am also an educator with 18 years of classroom teaching experience from the elementary level to graduate programs. I'm currently a professor in the Department of Political Science, Legal, and Urban Studies at William Patterson University. I am committed to evidence-based, forward-looking, caring, and civil leadership to best support our students, our teachers, and our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now we move to the second part of our program this evening. This is the question and answer portion. Each candidate, well, I can't say each candidate will be asked a question because there are so many candidates. The candidates were divided at random, basically away from their team members if they're running as a team. And 3 of the candidates will answer one particular question. This way we get to as many questions as possible. There'll be 11 questions in total. The candidates, again, will have 1 minute. These questions were solicited from the public. They were screened to avoid abusive language and also to make sure that the questions asked had to do with the functions and duties of a Board of Education member. So, question number 1, and the 3 people who will be answering this question are Mr. Bagdai, Ms. Delafave, and Ms. Wright. And the question reads, what do you consider the most important challenge facing the school district? How would you address it? Hey, Mr. Bagdai.
Hello, good evening again. I feel the most challenging and the most important point for the school district is the diversity of the town. You know, Parsippany is changing. Its people are changing. You know, the kids' education, the curriculum, and the amount of parent-teacher ratios are also changing. So the biggest challenge is the diversity in the community, which needs to be addressed right away. The second thing is transparency. A simple thing, like the meetings of the Board of Education are not online, are not published. Why? Why it takes so many years to have that? This is lack of transparency. Diversity and transparency, these are the 2 points, is what needs to be addressed right away. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Delafave.
Yes. Hi, thank you for that question. I really think that our biggest challenge is getting everybody on the same page right now. to really help all of our students. Being in the classroom, I know firsthand the diversity of our population. I know the different class sizes that are changing. I think we have to get down to business and quiet all the other noise around us and look at our fundamental issues that we have here collectively together and having open conversations. With that said, I also think our infrastructure is going to be an issue going forward. Our buildings are old, our population is growing, and I think we need smart people and good planning to help that issue as well.
Thank you. And Ms. Wright.
I would, in some ways, follow Ms. De La Fave. I think development and the fact that our schools are bursting at the seams is one of our most pressing challenges. The board has done a pretty good job so far at kind of planning for the future. We see the construction at Littleton School to add an additional 6 classrooms in the near term and more over the long term. But we need to think, both about infrastructure and space, about how do we prioritize our budget use to keep effective class sizes, bring innovative programming, while we're all trying to kind of integrate new just bodies in these rooms. I think there's going to be some big changes in recent years, and we need responsible leadership to manage that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, question number 2. And the 3 people answering that question are Mr. Bakhtarwala, Ms. Smith-Sneed, and Mr. DeVito. And question 2 is as follows. What changes will you work to achieve in the next 3 years?
Okay. So what I would like to, again, going back to it, make sure that Parsippany Board of Education, what we are immediate need right now we have is the education gaps that we have because of the COVID. A lot of students went offline or off the classroom, and then those losses is still building up, and we haven't recovered from that. Even though we had a year in school, kids are falling behind the math, English, and all the science. So we want to make sure that there's a continuous support and get them ready for the future and have strong foundation. The next thing I want to like to get is financial responsibility in our district. We want to make sure the board is very financiable, and then they are giving a very good look, a hard look in the spending that we are doing it, and make sure that we are responsible to our taxpayer, also responsible for students, and give them a technology that needed for their classroom activities, and support them with the newer generation of the IT and all that work. So getting those 2 points right away.
Thank you. Ms. Smith-Sneed.
As a middle school mother, my daughter comes home numerous times, one today, that there is a real problem with vaping and drug use in the middle school. I would like to see the district in the years coming to understand that we have innovative ways of protecting our children. A lot of drugs go unnoticed because of the vaping, because there's new technologies and things that children are exposed to and have the ability to get that when we were younger is not the same. Children are coming to school high, children are using drugs in school, and that is very, very worrisome for me as a parent. And just for my child, but for other people's children. And I hear a lot of people talk about the academic gaps and all other stuff and the diversity. But if our children can go to school and go to the bathroom and feel safe, just not to see someone using drugs or under the influence, I think that there's a serious situation going on in our township schools, and we need to address it. And we need to get the technologies in the school to detect those things and have a better security practice.
Thank you. Mr. DeVito.
Thank you. Yeah, the most recent board meeting that we had, we went through board goals, and we kind of did a kind of planning for the next couple of years. And one of the things we really spoke about on the board currently is development and how to plan for the future, the growth that is coming. And we all see it with all the developments going on in town, and being able to keep those schools funded properly so that we can anticipate that growth and expand on that growth. And point, that actually hits on all the other points the candidates there, as far as security, learning loss, etc. But we really need to be aware of that, so financially, to be able to keep it solid. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Question number 3 is going to be answered by Mr. Samaga, Mr. Barrios, and Ms. Von Aiken. And the question reads, what board committees do you hope to join and why?
This question, is it for me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I would like to join the technology committee if there is a committee which wants to do more of a technology revolution. Just last month, I attended the board of meeting, and it's a in-person meeting. I mean, there are a lot of parents who may be working late night. Okay, they may be in the hospital taking care of the patients, but they want to know what's happening in the schools. Or they may be a parent who is traveling on a business trip. They want to understand what's the current issues in the schools. But there is no online board meeting. It's a simple thing. I mean, the world has changed. Everywhere people are using a Zoom call. And what I heard is from last 5 to 6 years, Board of Education is struggling to have a simple Zoom setup. So I think these are all the small technology aspect where I feel that I can do an operational efficiency and bring the technology to the Board of Education so that we are aligned to the latest trend. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barrios.
Thank you for that question. Over the last 9 years, I have had the pleasure of being the chairperson for the Critical Issues Committee. And back when we were doing a superintendent search, I was the chairperson that actually started the search process off till we got the final candidates, and then it got transferred to someone else. I have been an active member with my time on the board on the Finance Committee, sports and buildings and grounds. I pretty much have covered all the committees. And over the last 2 years as the Board of Education president, one of those privileges is that I get to attend every committee meeting, which I did my very best to attend because, you know, there's so much going on in the district, and especially in the teaching and learning areas and policy, which is very critical to what we do on the board. And I thank you again for that question.
Okay, Ms. Von Aiken.
Thank you. So as a current board member, I've been able to be on several different committees, some that I haven't been on yet. So communications, I was on a couple of years ago. I was one of the ones to push for us to get our meetings video recorded and posted online. We're still trying to push that forward today and hopefully very soon. In addition, with my technology background, you know, continuing to advance technology in our district and help drive that forward. I'd like to be a part of the policy committee to ensure we're looking at fair and equitable policies across our district. And teaching and learning, I was on that committee before as well, and I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of work, a lot of reading of all the different curriculum and the different books that we're putting forward. But I really enjoyed learning about all the things that our students are going to be learning about and all the changes that are happening to be a more progressive district. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, question number 4 goes to Ms. Benavides, Mr. Chaffo, and Mr. Bagdai. And the question reads, what is your position on censoring materials at the high school level? And Ms. Benavides, you go first.
Okay, thank you. High school, okay. I believe that children at high school, at the age that they are in high school, they have heard of, seen certain materials that parents try to hide from them, and with the technology and the cell phones, that's basically impossible. And I am not implying that certain topics should be out there, but I think that's also the parents that have to take care of that, because the libraries have to reopen for anyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Chapo.
Thank you for the question. I believe that all materials presented in a public school system should be educationally and developmentally appropriate for the age level of the student receiving information. I don't believe in banning books based on titles. I believe on ensuring the content of those books is appropriate for the grade level they're teaching. For example, you wouldn't give a third grade student a physics textbook and expect them to understand that. So we have to be sure that those books and materials that are available for people are developmentally and educationally sound for the grade level. I also believe that parents have a right to know everything that's going on in a public school system to ensure that the values that they believe in are also being instilled in their children. I'm not a book banner, not a book burner, but we do have to be careful of what's being presented to our students.
Thank you. Mr. Baghdadi.
I always feel that censorship is required at certain level, but it again depends on the students, what families they come from, what value system they follow, and the parents. So keeping in mind with the teachers, the parents, and the students' educational level, the censorship has to be followed according to the state guidelines. You know, positive learning environment always negates the negative side of it. So if the educational system is been designed on the positive side and the censorship is, you know, keeping in mind with the parents and the value systems, the censorship is required, but it has to be done in conjunction with the parents and the teachers together with the students. Thank you.
Thank you. Question number 5 goes to Ms. Delafave, Mr. DeVito, and Mr. Samaga. And the question reads, Bill 5756 requires faculty to accept a student's gender identity without informing parents. What is your position on this? Ms. Delafave.
Yes, thank you for that question. And obviously, I know that's a pretty hot button topic lately. You know, I think it's a very nuanced policy and a very nuanced topic. You know, if you're as a teacher, if a student came to me and they expressed the need that the want or need that they felt something different than the gender they were assigned at birth, I would go through the proper chain of command. I would speak to the student in private. We would go to the guidance counselor. We would let the mental health professionals at that point kind of take over and address the policy that way. I think we have to protect all students, and that might look different at varying levels in their educational experience. And again, this is one of those quieting the noise are all around us, hot button topics. I think we can come up with some ideas together that will support all of our learners and make the students feel safe and protected no matter what's going on in their lives.
Thank you. Mr. DeVito.
Thank you for the question. What comes to this, brought up to this topic is what's been done by several districts in the state trying to repeal it, and others that really have not really addressed it at all. And I think there's some really gray area right now with whether or not this policy is a mandated policy by the state or not, because there's been talk by our own Attorney General saying that it is not mandated. So then why is it so bad if we try to repeal it? So I personally think parents should be informed about their children. But again, it's what the policy is, and as it is right now, they don't need to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Samaga. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, this is another hot topic. Again, Parsippany is a very diversified community where people come from different backgrounds. So these topics, it may vary from different community. So I personally believe that, okay, let's say if there's a kindergarten kid, or it could be like an elementary kid, okay, if he has some different opinion, then it needs to be informed to the respective authorities, the parents, so that our guardian, so that there is a mutual understanding, and then we have to go from there. So that's my personal opinion.
Thank you. Okay. Question number 6 will go to Ms. Wright, Ms. Benavides, and Mr. Barrios. And the question is, what do you see are parental rights as it relates to the education of their child?
Thank you so much. One, I believe that parents have a right to be involved in a collaborative, developmentally appropriate process of educating their children. But I also believe in the rights of young people. And I think a lot of the discourse around parents' rights right now is complicated and related to our previous question about policy 5756. And I think the balance of parents' rights and the rights of children shifts as students get older. As my colleague said, what's appropriate for a kindergartner is not appropriate necessarily for a high school senior. And I think we need to be appropriate and respectful to that high school senior and what that high school senior's needs are as well. And I also do want to say, I think sometimes young people are scared to tell their families about what's going on with them in terms of their gender identity or sexual orientation. And sometimes their fear is well-founded, sometimes it's not. One of the highest groups of homeless youth in our country and in our state are LGBT youth. I think schools should focus on supporting children to feel safe, how to communicate effectively with their parents, and how to be the most wonderful, creative, safe, just beautiful people that they are. Thank you.
Ms. Benavides.
Thank you. I believe parents have rights, but as Mrs. Wright just say, it goes with the age as well. And when they are growing and they are finding their identity, it is very important that the schools provide support. And by support, I mean, like counselors specialize on those issues, and also that they know what is the situation in their homes, what is their life, what's going on in their life. So not all situations are the same, and some, maybe they're not, they're scared, but there's no reason for that, but some, they could be in danger. So there's definitely needs to be more support for those children. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Barrios.
Thank you for your question. Yeah, parents are one of the major stakeholders in the education of their children. Operative word being their children, not the districts, not the state, not the federal government. And if a child for some reason felt threatened or had an issue, teachers, administrators are trained how to deal with that, how to get the proper authorities involved if that were the case. But with that having been said, parents need to participate in their child's education. The teachers and teachers are an amazing component of this, but parents are involved. And I would say the vast majority of the parents that I know are heavily involved in their children's education, whether it's doing homework or volunteering in the classrooms or just talking to the teachers about their child's education. Remember, their child, not the state, not the county, it's their child. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, question number 7 will be answered by Ms. Smith-Snead, Mr. Bagdai, and Ms. Delafave. And the question deals with new housing development is being built. Please address how the school board will plan to support the education of existing and new students with the anticipated overcrowding. And Ms. Smith-Snead.
Yes, I know at the last several board meetings that was stated, they do have a plan in place to properly incorporate the new enrollment or the increased enrollment for schools. They are adding to schools. One school is classrooms are being added to it. They anticipate some type of crowding. They're trying to do control. They're trying to redistrict. or do the board is over for schools to make sure there is equitable access to everyone, no classroom is overcrowded, teachers have a good ratio between teacher and student ratio, facilities are accessible to everyone and comfortable. So that's a start to what they're doing, as well as being fiscal responsible for expanding schools and improving schools with the anticipated enrollment increases.
Thank you. Mr. Baghdadi.
I always felt that the Board of Education lacked the bridge between the town council and the mayor's office. It has been a challenge where a two-way communication is not happening. The new development, the new people coming into town, and you understand that the mayor and the council's office makes policies by which the new development gets approved and new development that gets happened in the town. So I always recommended last time also, while I was running for the Board of Education, that there has to be a bridge between the town council, mayor's office, and the Board of Education with a two-way communication to handle this situation. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Delafave.
Yes, thank you for that question again. So I'm going to echo the sentiments that working with the town council and the planning boards is essential to getting ahead and out front of the developments in town. I know a lot of the developments, a lot of the percentage of that also comes from the state level. We don't have, as a town, control over all of those things. As a teacher, I ask lots of questions like, can you believe we're still building and we're getting an influx of these children who will also come throughout the whole entire school year? So again, work with the town council, plan the best that we can. Don't put our heads in the sand. Understand that there will be probably more children than they like to tell us there's going to be. Understand that those children will have a myriad of backgrounds. Make sure we have the staff in place or a contingency of staff in place to effectively go in and make sure that we know exactly what we're getting, or what we're going to get. And again, just be prepared for all scenarios. Background in education taught me that no matter what, always be prepared for every single thing that would happen. So,
thank you. Well, question number 8 goes to Mr. DeVito, Ms. Von Aken, and Mr. Chaffo. And it will highlight some of the things that were just previously said.
I did not get a turn, Falcone. I did not get a turn in the last go round.
But you get a turn. You're getting the next one. You get the next one. Everybody has the same number of questions they're going to answer, believe me. Okay, so the question number 8 is, how will you work with the Township of Parsippany, Troy Hills, to get some of the money from the pilot programs that are used for funding the new development, so that this money can be used for the schools? Because the pilot money goes to the township, it does not go to the schools. So, Mr. DeVito.
Thank you for that question. Yeah, there's been all this talk about these pilot agreements, and the development on 1515 was already in its construction, is the one that everyone talks about. And so I think there's that need of that greater communication between the township and the administration in town to find ways of leveraging what the pilot agreement has done and being able to properly fund the schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Von Aken.
Thank you. Great question. So while the board has some influence, ultimately this goes to the administration, but I would want to work with the administration as a board and as a board member to try to collaborate more, as Mr. Baghdadi had said before, with the town council, with the mayor's office, bridge a stronger relationship as the two different entities across town. The school district uses 65% of the property taxes that are collected for the town. The town then pays the school district that money. And so it's, when I heard about the pilot program, I was a little disappointed as a board member that that money was not guaranteed to come to the board with this new development. So I would want to do everything that I could to forge those relationships and try to get that money promised to the school district. But in reality, I know that there's no guarantees of that.
Thank you. And Mr. Chaffo, unmute yourself, please.
Thank you. So for those who don't know, PILOT stands for Payment in Lieu of Taxes, and it's a mechanism by which a developer and a property owner makes a one-time payment to the municipal government, township, for property taxes. Municipality has no obligation to provide any of that tax funding to the school district. And in my opinion, for residential development, it's a really bad idea. For commercial development, a one-time tax payment, you could argue, is fine. But with a residential development where you're going to have students coming from those developments that are going to use the service of the school district, it's a bad idea. But in terms of working with the town, you know, over the time I've been on the board and Tim too, we have established many shared services agreements with the town of Parsippany. We share services for transportation, for buildings and grounds maintenance. Tim and I were on the board when the first agreement with the township to provide security resource officers to the schools came about. So we know how to work with the town council, as does Matt DeVito. And you know, we have that ability to do that. We're experienced. So thank you. Give us an opportunity to do so.
Thank you. Okay. Question number 9 goes to Mr. Berrios, Mr. Bakhtarwala, and Ms. Benavides. And the question asks, how would you go about soliciting outside, meaning state, federal, or private funds that can be used to expand the schools? Mr. Berrios.
Wow, good and complicated question. Unfortunately, the state of New Jersey, coming out of Trenton, is pretty much dictates that you know, there is a whole process. There is, you know, so for an example, if someone were to donate a plot of land to the district and say, hey, go build a school, you know, you have not just the local and the county, but you would have to go through state and probably even federal you know, processes. It would just be a long period of time. Not that it's not possible, but it's a long endeavor. But for us, you know, on the local board, school board, we would be working with our local, state, and county representatives, you know, Jay Weber's office or Anthony Foucault or any of those, you know, Brian Bergen, you know, which we spend a lot of time with them, talking about what's going on and getting them to help us. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bakhtarwala.
Really good question. And it's going back to this previous question too, where are we getting a lot of development in a township? We need to look at for these resources. We need the resources to build it because we have crowding in our schools. There's a lot of new students coming in our school system, and the parents to teacher ratio is getting larger. There's no individual or private education to the school. So what we need to do is we need to get not just for the Board of Education, but also the mayor office reaching out with the state partners, federal partners, county partners to get additional funding resources where we could use these resources to add more classroom, more technology, and accommodate all those growth that we are looking in the town. If we can sustain that growth with that better education, then it's going to affect the Parsippany housing value, community, and the education of the kids. So we do need to get that additional funding, additional resources, additional classroom resources for our kids. That is very important. And I would work with the mayor office and then town council to secure that funding and make our schools better.
Thank you. Ms. Benavides.
Thank you. That would be the ideal that we have. We built new schools in town for all the new kids that are coming. But for obvious reasons, it's not easy, not impossible. And it will require a lot of work of the whole board, like putting a campaign, as Mr. Berrios says, and advocate for it. On the other side, there will probably be opposition on the town residents because of the taxes, but we all have to think that overcrowded schools are not going to help the students that are already in and the new ones that are coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Question number 10 goes to Mr. Chaffo, Mr. Samaga, and Ms. Smith-Sneed. And the question asks, with a diverse growing population, what steps would you take to include holidays such as Eid, Diwali, and the Lunar New Year, for example, in the school calendar?
Yeah, that's been a hot button question for many years on the Board of Education. To say we have about a 30% Indian population in town. The Hispanic population has been significantly growing the last several years. So we do have to consider all that. But on a practical level, we are bound to provide 180 days of learning to school children. And when you factor in federal holidays and teacher conventions, other days off that are set, pretty firmly, it becomes very difficult to find which days you can allocate and still meet your 180-day requirement. This year, because there was a lack of snow and Diwali fell the way it was, the board was able to accommodate Diwali. That's not a promise going forward, folks. Just want to let you know that. There's a calendar committee. It's comprised of Board of Education members, administrators, and members of the public. So I encourage everyone with a voice who finds that a passionate issue to participate in that calendar committee. They set a rotating calendar for every 2 years, and they meet yearly to update that calendar. So please express your interest, come to a board meeting, and let people know you have a preference on how those school days should look. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Samaga.
Yeah, I believe in diversity, inclusion, and no one should be left out. Okay, we have almost 40 to 50% of the minority community children who goes to the school. So if they have a festival, it needs to be given holiday. So they should not be left out. So that's my opinion. So I think this year, Parsippany Board of Education has given holiday for Diwali as well as Eid. Going forward also, if any of the student, if they think that, okay, they have a holiday, which is part of their ethnicity, it needs to be celebrated. Yes, we need to hear their voice. Just because they are minority, they should not be left out. So I believe in diversity, inclusion. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Smith-Sneed.
Yes, people again pride themselves on saying how diverse Parsippany is, but it's not reflective in the calendar. I don't feel as though a group of people who make up a large subgroup in the district should have to petition a high holy day. It's disappointing to see so. Just as like they prioritize other holidays in the district, we would have to do a better job in making it fair and equitable for everyone. That is a hard stance. Everyone should be acknowledged, everyone should be affirmed, everyone should be seen. No one should have to petition their faith when someone else's faith or high holy days are an absolute. That is not fair, that is not equitable. And the people on the board and the people that are in the audience, the people that's in the township, it should not be something that you have to ask for. It should be a given, just like everybody else in a mainstream religion or belief system is given as well. We need to do better in that capacity.
Thank you. Okay, and the last question for this evening will be answered by Ms. Von Aken, Ms. Wright, and Mr. Bhaktawala. And the question reads, how do you see your role vis-a-vis the new superintendent of schools? Ms. Von Aken.
Yes. So with a new superintendent, I don't see my role as a board member changing other than forging a new relationship. We're actually very fortunate because our new superintendent is not new to our district. He's been an assistant superintendent for many years. And being on the board, I've had a chance to get to know Dr. Sutter, and I am very pleased that he's the new superintendent. As a potential new board member, continuing board member, I would want to kind of reset, talk to him openly about what I would like to see for the district and hear from him what his vision is for the district, and then see as a full board, there are 9 members, not just one, what we can do to collectively work together to move the district forward.
Thank you. Ms. Wright.
Yes, thank you so much. So I believe actually that one of the board's most important functions is effective hiring, and having our new superintendent, I think, is a coup. He knows our district. He's well regarded in our district. And so I see the board's ongoing role. One is a collaborator to, if he has initiatives that we are in support of, to make sure he has the resources necessary to, carry out that vision. I see the board as a just all over supporter of the school district, of all its employees. And mostly, I think we also see an accountability keeper. We need to have that positive collaborative relationship so that we can also say, make sure that we're reaching our goals, that we have academic excellence, that we're serving all of our diverse students, that as challenges come up, like stuffed classrooms, we have on the ground daily communication from top to bottom, all the way through the district. Thanks.
Thank you. And Mr. Bhaktawala.
So I attended a couple meeting last couple months, and I get to meet the new superintendent. Like Steve pointed out earlier, that he's not new to our district, but what I would like to as a new board member, we as a board member, we have a set of expectation what we want to do with our school district. What do we have? If anybody wants to do their job good, we have to, as a community, as a board, we have to set up an expectation what we want to achieve with our school system. And once it's clearly communicated with the superintendent, that's what we need to give him time, space, and room to build those systems and implement in our district. So what I would be doing with as a board member, work with our current board members and set up on what we want to achieve, and then communicate to the superintendent and have them room, capacity, and then a space to build those and then plan, apply. And it has to be SMART goals. It has to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bounded. So we want them to come back and report it on those measurable goals. So that's what we would like to communicate. Thank you.
Thank you. And that brings us to our third portion of tonight's program, which are the closing remarks. You will have 1 minute to make a closing statement, and the order will be reverse alphabetical order. So we start with Wendy Wright.
Thank you so much. Again, thank you to everyone who's made this event possible. I deeply believe that a robust educational system is the bedrock of a just democratic society. We each have a duty to work collaboratively to create the future that we want to live in. And frankly, that's why I'm running. What that looks like, in my opinion, with the work in front of us, it means fiscally responsible budget leadership, planning, and ensuring that we are prioritizing appropriately. I'm not the first to say this. I think, quote actually is a Jesuit quote, but a budget is a moral document, and how we prioritize reflects who we are. We need to be respecting diversity, supporting all of our learners, no matter their background. We need to have innovative education-based curriculum delivered by caring, passionate educators. And I also deeply believe in the deliberative process. And as a board member, would work to build a civil community among the board members, no matter our differences in our personal beliefs. We're all here for our children, their future, and the best community we can be. Thank you for your time. Please check out my campaign page on Facebook or reach out to me directly. And I hope I've earned your vote. Please vote line 1, Wendy Wright.
Thank you. Kendra Von Aiken.
Thank you to the League of Women Voters and the Parsippany Women's Club and the Daily Record for hosting this forum and covering it, and to the public for taking time to listen to all the candidates' views so you can make an informed vote on or before November 7th. I want to continue to serve this community as a Board of Education member. The last 3.5 years has brought politics into the Board of Education. By law, Board of Education members are to remain nonpartisan in their duties. I promise, if elected, to maintain my neutrality while sitting at the board table and making decisions on behalf of the students and staff of this district. The issues that have been brought to us have slowed down our progress, but not impeded it. I would like to get back to the true business of running the district instead of spending time on fringe issues that don't move our district forward. We have done amazing things in this district over the past few years, and I only see things getting better from here. but only if the administration is able to continue the work they've set out to do. I hope to continue working hard for you, your students, and the staff of this district. Please vote for me, Kendra Von Egan, on November 7th. Thank you.
Thank you. Deetria Smith-Sneed.
Again, I want to thank all the organizations for making this event possible. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate the candidates in the township of Parsippany Troy Hills. I just want to say that, you know, we do have a great school system. We have a great community. And I just feel like with my keen perspective as an educator, as a parent, as a community lover, and as a people person, I just want to add value to the district. I feel like everyone's voice is not always heard, and I want to be the voice of those who aren't. I want to represent everyone at all times, regardless of how great or small the issues are, or as well as the celebrations. I want to be that board member for you. I want to partner with our superintendent, with all our stakeholders, regardless of our religious beliefs, political beliefs, anything that is negative, but we can always find something that we can agree upon. And I know all of us agree that we want our children to be well-rounded, well-educated, prepared for the future. We appreciate our teachers. We appreciate all those who are in powers of position and touch lives every day. And I just want to say thank you. And I want to be a part of the solution. Vote for me. Line
Thank
2.
Okay. Balakrishna Samaga.
Top performing schools are recognized as national blue ribbon schools. Okay, this year 7 of the New Jersey schools are part of that list. However, not even single school from our Parsippany school exists in that list. My vision is to make our Parsippany School District school as a role model schools for the nation. To make this, we need to have a clear goals, objectives, and also I would like to work with the respective team members as a board member so that there is transparency, as well as we work for our achievements so that we provide a best education system for our schools. So far, a lot of board members who have served 10 years, 12 years, I've never heard what's their vision, what's their goal for the schooling system, okay? If we keep continue, our tax keeps going up and the education system start declining down by down. So we need a best education system. Vote for me. I'll try my best to do what I can for our Parsippany education system. Thank you everyone for your time, your attention, for attending this debate. And I thank for all the organization committee for arranging this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Matthew DeVito.
I want to thank everyone again for attending tonight, all of my fellow candidates and the moderators for your great job. Thank you. I've been on the board, as I said, 5.5 years. If I'm honored again by the voters to be elected yet again, I would try to continue the work I've been doing on the board for the past 5.5 years and really help prepare for the development that's coming and the growth of the district that's going to happen. And I think we need that kind of experience on the board still. We have a new superintendent that would need our guidance. And I think he would value from all of our collective experience. And I hope to have your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Nicole Delafave.
Yes. Thanks everyone again for hosting and for coming and speaking. It reinforces what I love, talking about education. It's truly been a passion of mine since I was a little girl at Troy Hills Elementary. I want to reinforce that I have a commitment to our children. My main goal is to bring relevant programs to all learners, to ensure schools themselves are safe and modernized, and to keep all the noise out of the conversation and to get right back down to helping those kids. My strength is my experience as a parent, a teacher right here in Parsippany. I know firsthand what the learners need. I know firsthand the challenges, what challenges the teachers face. I know firsthand challenges that parents face. I face it. We face it every day when those kids get off the bus and come home to us. We continue to rank Parsippany schools as top in the country. We need smart people who can bring logic and calmness to board meetings in order to affect the best policies and turn out the very best students Parsippany has to offer. When it comes down to it, the ultimate focus really needs to be the kids. They're our future. So vote Nicole Delafave on November 7th, item number 6, and join my Facebook page to learn more about me. Thank you.
Thank you. Andrew Chaffo.
Thank you again to the sponsors and those in attendance, and of course, thank you to the candidates. There were a lot of great points raised tonight, and I have to ask this question. With the exception of Kendra, Matt, and Tim, I don't recall any of you other folks being at a board meeting prior to May. So I would really, like to encourage, if you do have these concerns, whether you're elected or not after November, please come to a board meeting and express them. The board is open-minded, as am I, and we would love to hear feedback from the public. We're always asking for that. I serve on this board because I think I am helping kids be the best they can be. Serving on a board requires an open mind, dedication, and commitment. I have 15 years of experience. My two running mates have 15 years combined, so it's 30 years of experience. And we believe that our record of accomplishment to make Parsippany the best school district it can be. We continually rank in the top school district in New Jersey. We continually rank high for our niche reports nationally. We have kept our tax rate at 2% or less for the better part of the last 12 years. So we know how to fund the district. We know how to work with the administration to accomplish the goals that the people of Parsippany want and the students of Parsippany deserve. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Timothy P. Barrios.
Thank you very much. Once again, I want to thank the League of Women Voters of the Morristown area for organizing this event. To again, the parents, the families, friends who have attended. Running with me are two great partners and members of this Parsippany community. We volunteer our services and we work hard to make the Parsippany School District a model for others to copy. And we work hard to do what is in the best interest of children. Why vote for Tim Barrios? I care for our children. I care for our community. I will be fiscally responsible. I believe in the Parsippany teachers, some of the best, and giving them the tools to work in their classroom. I will fight for parents to make sure that they have a seat at the table and that is never taken for granted. Politics and partisanship have no place in our schools. So I will be an independent voice and an unbiased listener. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Lily Benavides.
Thank you. Thank you all for making this forum possible. And for the residents of Parsippany, I would like to say that I will bring a new voice to the Board of Education with equality, representation, and accountability. I will be working to make sure that all the kids have the best access to all the opportunities and the education and technology and more support for mental health care and I'm on line 11. Lily Benavides, please vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Falgun Bhaktawala.
Once again, my name is Falgun Bhaktawala, and I'm grateful for your opportunity to have shared my thoughts on Parsippany School District. I believe that all students deserve to have access to high quality education, regardless of their ability and background. So what I'm hoping to get is we want to get the program for all students, not for one community, one part of the community, but all the community part of students. I believe that education is the key of our future as a nation. And it's founded on which we built a strong and prosperous society. I encourage our school district to continue to work toward providing all students with a high quality of education. When I say that high quality means not just the grades, we want to make the students a critical thinker and good citizen in the community. Also, I want to leave you with the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s thought here. It's a quote here. The function of the education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character. And that's the goal of the true education. So what we would like to do is have that true education where the education is for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. And Nilesh M. Bagde.
Last but not the least. Again, what do we need? We have a new superintendent. We need new board members. I, again, tell the same thing again. We need to bridge the town council, the mayor's office, at the same time address situations like, growing, new development in the town. Why are we running? Me, Falgun, and Bala, we are all running together. We are thorough professionals, with a professional educational system, with the professional, with the professional background we bring on board. We again request the voters to give us a chance to be the part of the community and the school-going kids' parents to be the part of the Board of Educational system to make sure that we bring the professionalism to the board. Thank you. Have a nice day and good night.
Thank you. Thank you. We're very grateful to the Women's Club of Parsippany Troy Hills and the Daily Record for their nonpartisan participation and support, and look forward to continuing our work together. We'd like to thank the candidates for coming to the debate and giving the public a chance to hear their opinions on the issues. We thank our timer and the volunteers who helped make this evening possible. Thank you to the audience for attending and being active participants in the democratic process. A reminder, this program was live streamed and recorded, and it will be available for viewing on the Morristown Area League of Women Voter YouTube channel. And it's going to take a couple of days to get it up there, but it will be up there. Also remember that we encourage the sharing of the League's recording, but it must be used in its entirety. There's no editing or taking excerpts from it. I also want to state that there are 3 ways of voting now in New Jersey. One is by mail-in ballot. You need to apply for a mail-in ballot. You will get the mail-in ballot, and then you can put it in the drop box in each of the towns, or you can mail it by parcel, the Postal Service. There's early voting, and the early voting is voting on the machines. Early voting runs from October 28th to November 5th. There are 8 sites in Morris County, and the voting locations are open from 10 to 8 Monday through Friday and 10 to 6 on Saturday and Sunday. And then, of course, there's the tried and true in-person Tuesday, November 7th, Election Day, where you vote at your regular polling location. Polls open at 8 a.m. and 6 a.m. Sorry, they open at 6 a.m. and they close at 8 p.m. And thank you all again, and have a good evening.
Thank you.